I was just trying to get your front row going here a little bit. Okay, this is a really big opportunity, and to come back, start this thing up. I mean, it's way different than it was a year ago. Just in the anticipation, knowing that people are coming to the game here, and when we have such a special relationship with the 12s and the following just around in the Northwest, it was really, I don't know, just so uncomfortable last year to not share the experience with them, because the game has always been that, where we do it all together. So to know now that our fans get to come and take part in it and be in this game with us and all that, it's really it's a big deal, and it's exciting. It's not there's nothing bad about it. It's just all good. But we want to make sure that everybody that comes, brings the stuff that they need to get in and takes care of business, so that you can all enjoy the day and have a great outing. And we're so excited that we get to do this. So we can't. I mean, it's too bad we got to wait a couple of days. But anyway, it should be really exciting, really fun, and we got to play really good football. So we make it the kind of stadium that it can be, and we take responsibility for that. I get it. This is a really good team that we're playing. The Titans were, division champs last year. A lot of wins, huge numbers by their players and stats and all the build-up and the high-profile guys and all of that. This is a really exciting matchup for us, and as was last week, another really good team, and here we go again. And it feels like, and as we go through the preparation and our guys learn the team that we're playing against, they'll feel the legitimacy of the championship matchup, and so it's really good for us. We had one on the road, now we got one at home to get this thing started, and hopefully we can get off to a really good start doing it. So we're looking forward to this.
Fans being back, is it almost the case last year where you don't appreciate quite how much they mean until it's taken away and you're playing without them?
Yeah, and it was all relative. Even on the road, it was maybe helpful to the road teams. We had a heck of a year on the road last year, and so it was it was even, in that regard. But it's just the experience of it. It's just sharing the experience with the people that love it, and the build up and knowing that everybody's coming to the game, and they get all of that stuff, the tailgating and all that goes on, that is part of the event, is all part of the excitement of it all. So it's an important deal. We love it.
Derrick Henry almost would have won a rushing title last year on after contact yards alone. Have you ever seen a back that offers the size, athleticism, and skill set that he does?
Now he's really unique. He's really unique. There have not been very many guys like him over the years, because he's really fast, and he's a big strider, and he just runs through things. It's not like he's an impact runner that he's blasting off of guys. He just keeps going. You just can't get him off stride because he's such a powerful back, and he has great instincts. His instincts of how to hit the line of scrimmage and how to use the opportunity of the blocking schemes, it's just about impeccable. And so he takes full advantage of what they do, and they're really committed to it, and running the football in their style, and their line blocks really well, and the scheme is good, and they know how to put him in the right spots, and so it's a really challenging guy to play against, and a team to play against, and Coach Vrabel, he wants to hardball it and all that, so it's just all fits together, and they're very fortunate to have him. He's a fantastic competitor.
Do you feel like you tackled in the opener?
Not as well as we wanted to. We missed a few more tackles than we we have a cutoff mark that we like to stay under. We were not there. We missed a couple tackles late in the game too, trying to protect the sidelines, and didn't look real good. But it's a good first outing. We ran and hit really well. We got after it. It wasn't part of the physical. It was a little bit of over aggressive, and the timing was off a little bit, and we overran some stuff. So we just have to keep cleaning up. That's a never-ending part of the process, is working on your tackling and all of the fits that we got to get it done. So.
With a guy like Henry is as big and physical he is, what is the teaching point with tackling him, and how
you have to wrap him up? You have to hang on to him. You can't knock him off his feet. He's too powerful, and if you tackle him up too high, then he just shakes you down. He's got a great straight arm, and he's just got great knack. He just does not expect to go down. And great runners play like that. They don't. A guy tackles him, and they don't think that that's going to get him to the ground, and they keep going, and they make things happen. You saw some examples last week from Jonathan. He's the kind of, he had 600 yards after contact, last year, and that's because he does not give up on plays. And kind of, okay, this guy's going to hit me and tackle me, and I'm going down. He just finishes and then does spectacular things. That's what we see Derek do all the time.
The fans, Coach, how much easier was it this past week and is it this week, knowing that you don't have to manufacture your own juice? And last year you spent so much time emphasizing the guys having to create their own.
We didn't back off now, particularly on the road, because we know we get the minimal amount of help. And the 12s did a nice job on the road now. They were there. If you listened to the game late in the game on the broadcast, you could hear them chanting, and it's Seahawks, they're doing it, in their stadium. But we still have to create it, and we have to take responsibility for that. So when we come here to play at home, it's no different. We don't want that to be any different. It's just more obvious how necessary it is. We're out there all by ourselves. So we're not backing off at all.
Any heart to him?
Yeah. Dwayne he's still coming back. He's not with us today. He's home today, so he's still working his way back. And you asked about Penny? Yeah, Penny Hart will practice today.
What about Rashad Penny?
He's not going today.
Game film from last week, how well Arizona played or how poorly Tennessee played?
I was really attracted by Arizona's play. They were spectacular. They on offense they were all over the place. They did a million different things. Defensively, they created so many big plays right from the beginning. The pass rush was, it was pretty well focused on one guy, and he was unstoppable in the game, and it affected the entire play of of the Titans. So. Just overall, they just got out ahead and stayed ahead and just kept going. There was no fluke to that one. They really played great football and made the plays that they needed to, and it was a hard day for Tennessee to get going. That's not the way they want to play. They were down 17-0 in the first quarter. So anyway, so you got to give a lot of credit to the Cardinals. They looked terrific.
Ethan Posick go on injured reserve. What's his long-term status with that?
We're hoping it's a 3-week deal. We can get him back in 3, the minimum. He's actually, he's moving. He can flex his knee. It's not all blown up or anything like that. So he'll have a chance to do that.
Kind of Sheffield, if you need him there.
He's ready now. He'll be better in time because he needs more time with Russ to really function with him. But he's a real capable player, and we were really excited about getting him. We were surprised we were able to pick him up when we did. So we're fortunate that he's popping into this thing. So he's learning, and he's on a crash course, and seems to be a real bright guy and gets it. And I'm really anxious to watch him this week when really he gets another step forward.
John Radigan to the 53, kind of what went into that?
There was an opportunity, and as we work the roster here to get everybody on, there's some decisions we have to make. Johnny's done a really nice job. Unfortunately, he just hadn't had enough time to show it. But that which he has shown, he played very well in the last preseason game, and he did a nice job. He got knocked around a little bit early, and then came roaring back in this game and did some really good things. We need when we lost BBK, we needed a guy to step up. So the opportunity was there for John if he could nail it, and so far he has. And so I'm really pleased that he gets that shot.
It seemed like last year, second half, that your base defense was reinvented to an extent. How much is this year about adding more multiplicity to that base, or is it just about refining and improving that scheme?
Yeah, the answer is yes. All of it. We're trying to get better at our base stuff always. You really can only go as far as your base defense takes you, because you're out in it so much. But we have been working at, expanding the package of stuff, more familiarity with our players, more time with them. We were kind of scrambling a little bit last year early on, but we're not now. We're in good shape, and so, but we're continuing to grow with the stuff, and that's part of the season's process, and nothing unusual about that. But this is a good-looking group. We were really pleased with the pressure that we got throughout the ranks of the guys at Rush. Later in the game, Alton Robinson got in the game, and he was really effective. And it's just rotation-wise, we just didn't get him in early. But Kerry Hyder made some good plays, and of course we saw Darrell do his thing, and Carlos made problems for them too. So was really pleased, and I mentioned Rasheem. Rasheem played one of his best games. So.
I asked is it seemed like, most of the time you've been here, a lot of 3-deep looks, but last week there were a lot of 3-deep looks that ended up being 2-deep with fire zones. Is that something that's just personnel based, or?
It's really not that much different than it may seem different, but it's not that much different. But I know because I've grown through it, and maybe you might be more accurately observing this than I am, but we're still in the same lineage of thinking and principles that we use, but we're trying to play to the strengths of our players more so, and trying to utilize those guys. So that's maybe where the changes occur, and we'll keep expanding now. There's no reason not to. We have a good base understanding of what we're doing, but we need to keep working at it.
Obvious thing, but the two receivers they have in AJ and Julius, what kind of challenge are they?
They're incredible players. They're both great players, and they're both physical factors. AJ's really strong, plays really tough, makes all of the plays, makes spectacular plays, and catch and run. Julio is like as good as you can get, so that's a fantastic 1-2 punch, and I don't know who's 1, who's 2, it doesn't matter. They're really, really good.
When you guys were looking at DK, were you looking at AJ too in the draft?
Sure, of course, we were, and we had the evaluation done on both guys.
Sunday?
They did well. They did well in the game. Yeah, we didn't hear much about them. They did well. The ball really went inside a lot to the backs and the tight end stuff. So they did a nice job on the wideouts.
They responded to being down last week. LJ.
Say it again, please.
On being inactive.
Oh, he's frustrated. He wants to play. We sat down, talked about it in my office, and went through it and all that, and he's doing everything. He's practicing like crazy. He's had a good preseason. He knows his assignments. He knows the scheme, and he can play. It's just kind of fitting it all together. And it's a long season. He's going to be a factor for sure down the road here, if not immediately. So he's available every week. We'll look at it all over again.
Kind of joked about this after the game, but Bobby Wagner getting 13 tackles and no one's talking about it. I mean, what does that tell you about his career?
Yeah, he's an incredible performer that continues to just show who he is and what he's all about. He came out of the game great, and he feels good. And, you would wonder, a middle linebacker that doesn't get a chance to play full speed, to tackle anybody really live until the game, and it's like riding a bike, right back at it. And and he would tell you too. There's some stuff that he could do better in the game. He'll improve, but that's a big performance. It's a big game. Started off, kind of just ho hum it, and we're raving about Monet's 5 tackles, and all that. But he's a spectacular competitor on our club.
You see out of Cody in the snaps that he was with Jordan.
We need more. We need more stuff. We'll just keep taking on information. We'll see.
Pete, last time you played Tennessee in Nashville, it was a tumultuous weekend because of all the stuff that was happening nationally politically.
Yeah, that was an amazing week, wasn't it? Yeah.
Aside from all of that, how much did that impact the result in that game because of the distraction?
Well, back then, I hadn't seen us play like that, so it did have an impact. Yeah, we played. We didn't play fast, in that game, and it just was shocking to see us not look like everybody was on their hair is on fire, like it always is. And I don't know what aspect of the weekend affected us, but that was a real outlier game, and they took it to us. We did not play well that day, and that just doesn't happen very often, and we, I went with what was going on around the country and the conversation, and where as opposed to not fronting it up and dealing with it, we went right at it and had an intense meeting about it. And I think at the time, I believe we were talking to their players too, some of our guys, about how we're going to handle it in the game and all that kind of stuff. So they were doing it too. I'm not saying they weren't. It affected us in a way that just we didn't look like ourselves. So, was it the right thing to do? I think it was, because we needed to talk the topics that we were on, and we needed to deal with it. But it didn't necessarily help us in the game. I didn't have any idea how it would affect us when we were doing it. But I think I would probably do it the same. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I learned a lot that night. Yeah, the night before the game, I learned a lot that night, and it was helpful. It was important. It was rough, It was a rough time, and we needed to be there and be in the middle of it. But unfortunately, it happened to be the night before the game, a football game, So I would have done it on a Monday or a Wednesday, any time of the week we could have,
Russell can get his 100th win, regular season win this week, and obviously it's year 10, so not kind of works out there 10 wins a year at least. But just kind of how amazing is that when you just kind of take that in totality?
Yeah, I can't compare that number, the 100, like to other guys, because nobody's ever been in a situation I've been around. But it's just another one of the statements that adds to the remarkable start to his career that we've all witnessed and been part of. The numbers are obvious, and you can look at it a ton of different ways. And he's up there with the best that ever played the game, and he's just getting warmed up. That's what it feels like. And so we've been very fortunate to be part of his entry to the league, and he's been fortunate to be here too at the right time, because he's been received and accepted and really pushed to find his best, and it's been a real cooperation, I think. I'm really excited about, and we'll always be excited about the way we worked. I mean, all the way back to the first day, I took him out. The hoop used to be outside in the building on the parking lot out there, and I took him outside to talk to him about starting his first game, and tell him he was going to be the starter. And I told him, I said to him at that time, I said, over the time that we're going to do this, you and I are going to do this a lot together, because you're going to be the guy they're always going to talk to and talk about, and I am too. And so we need to do this really, really well, and we both kind of just took the challenge and let's go. And he was a young pup at the time, but he was kind of maybe wondering what I was talking about, but it's turned out that way, Obviously, he's been in the center of everything, and he's handled it beautifully over the long haul of this. It's very challenging to do what these quarterbacks do. I mean, how much more exposure can a young athlete have, than and we're watching all of the guys again this year. There's 4 or 5 guys coming out this year to have to deal with it again. How will they deal with it, remember, also, I'm just kind of rambling here, but remember when they used to compare Peyton Manning and Aaron and those guys to Russ, Well, they had played like 10 years more than he had. And I was always trying to battle for him. I said, hey, look, he's in his 3rd year. How can you, give him a chance to put some years under his belt and figure this thing out? This position is hard to play. It's hard to master it, and it takes a lot of time to really get it. And fortunately, we've been able to watch that happen, and it's been remarkable. It's been really fun.
In retrospect, how big of a leap of faith was that for you? You just signed Flynn, and you're going with a brand new kid in the 3rd round as a starter right away. Was that? Did you?
Well, you got to ask John that. Ask John that question. I was okay with. I was fine about it, and it didn't really make sense to a lot of people, why you would do that. But we had seen him, John and I both agreed totally on the player that he was, but we needed to work our way through how this was going to impact him, how he would handle it, the ups and the downs of it. Remember, we should have won the first game that we played. We were on the 7-yard line. We didn't frickin' win the first game, come from behind. It should have been his heroic start, and we just didn't get it done. And it always pissed me off that he didn't get that, because he was worthy of winning that first game, first one out, and kind of, I think it felt like a come from behind game or whatever. Was that the Cardinals? Yeah. Yeah, and it was right there, to be had. So, still regret that.
But he had all the tools, of course, and you guys agreed about that. But
yes.
just for you to you basically gave the keys of the franchise to a rookie quarterback in his first game from week 1.
Well, I think at the time we let him sit in the passenger seat.
Oh.
Yeah, it took a while. It took to the Chicago game. Right. If you guys remember that one, it was the Chicago game when in the middle of that game, I told the guy, hey, let him go. This is his game, and from that point, we kind of let the reins out a little bit on him, and we were just trying to raise him up, and hopefully we could do that, not have the big setbacks and the big pitfalls that guys have to go through sometimes. And we pretty much made it through it. But.
When you're shooting hoops with him in the parking lot, is that game a horse, or you're just shooting around a little bit, and you remember his reaction when you?
I think I took him 2 out of 3. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it won the first 2. Yeah. You won't remember it that way.
Coach Harry says you have like a knack for like
teaching them stuff or implementing things like in anticipation of how defense or offenses are going to attack you guys? You implement something, you won't even see it till weeks later, stuff like that. Is there another coach that you learned from that kind of gave you that?
Yeah, Monty Kiffin. Monty Kiffin was the guy that affected, all of my coaching from on the defensive side of the ball, all of it. He was an incredible mind and an incredible leader and philosophy that he had and all of that. And that was really the source of all of that. I'm still coaching the same scheme, basically. In the way I see it, and other people wouldn't see it that way, but it still comes from the same origin.
What's the key to being a step ahead of offenses in that way?
Well, I don't know that that's somebody else said that. I didn't say that, but it's knowing how the scheme works and how you can fix the problems. And it's always the most important part in the game is how you fix your issues, and do you stay a step ahead? Do you see things coming? You showed something. Can you go ahead and get ahead of it before somebody can take advantage of miscues or poor play and stuff like that? It's having the vision to look ahead that allows you to avoid the kind of the typical things that can happen. So.
You mentioned earlier how impressive Arizona looked. When you look across the whole division the first week, does that just kind of speak to how small the margin of error is going to be?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's going to be really hard. I mean, the division just started on fire, and good, They got to play us. We got to play them. It's going to make us all better. And the team that comes out and wins this division is going to be ready for whatever. We'll be ready. And so it's good. It's good for us.
70 feel.
I thought about this in the middle of the night that, it's not very often that you get to have a press conference on your birthday, And thanks for bringing it up. How does it feel? I don't know. I feel great. I feel great. But what I really feel is I feel grateful. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful and appreciate where we are right now and this opportunity to be here and work in this franchise for the Allen family and their support, the fans that we love to deal with. I mean, everything about what we're doing here is really just as good as I could hope. And so I'm so grateful for that, and I'm lucky to have been found here. And I think I've said to you guys, people used to say, "Why'd you come here?" And I didn't know at the time really either, but now I do know. This is an amazing place to work and to represent, and I'm very grateful for it. And the other thing I wanted to say to you guys about it is that how do I feel? My heart is broken in so many ways about what's going on around us, and there's so much just kind of discontent and stuff with the way things are going. But I don't, and this isn't going to surprise you, I think it's turning. I think as hard as times have been and as difficult as it's been, and we've been through so much, we've exposed so much hardship and so much really just discontent and all. I think it's ready to go. I think it's ready to turn. I don't think we need to go any lower to get going again. And I'm thrilled to be here in this situation to watch it happen, contribute to it, hopefully help our guys find a way that they can help in their areas with their areas of influence to do good stuff. Because what's going to turn us into a better way is we're going to love the people around us better than we do, and we're going to appreciate the people that are different than us better than we do. And that's I think it's coming. And I mean, it couldn't get any darker in terms of people griping at one another and having all the discomfort that we feel, but yet there's more people that want to do good stuff. There's more people that want to see people be taken care of and looked after till they can be on their own feet and get their own thing done. And it's this differences thing that keeps coming up. And I don't see it personally that we should love the fact that people are different and that they're uniquely from different backgrounds and different outlooks and perspectives, and let that challenge us to understand them more and appreciate the uniqueness that they bring. I mean, you've heard me talk about the uniqueness of our players for years and how we celebrate that. Well, that's not just football. I mean, I just hope that we're going to watch this turn and we're going to be able to contribute to it. And, you know, looking back, I mean, I'm saying this because, you know, I'm older than anybody, so I get to say what I want to say, you know, and really we have a lot of good things to do right now. And there's a lot of good people that are fighting their ass off to make good things happen. And there's people that are fighting against it. And I think if we keep a good thought and a good hope, and we really look after the people around us, then we are going to do good stuff. And so I'm really excited about it. So I'm appreciative, I'm grateful as hell, and all that. But I'm also jacked up for what can turn. And I'm hoping we'll all see this thing, and it'll be really obvious to us. People are going to get well. People are going to get their money back. People are going to get their jobs back, get their businesses back, get their lives in the order that they want. And looking forward to it. So.
Is there a specific source of that optimism? I mean, something in the culture that you can. I mean,
I don't think there's enough people that are trying to drag things down. I don't think there's enough of them. I think there's too many people that are trying to uplift, and I think we're going to outlast them, and we're going to outweigh it, and it's going to make others join in, and we're going to just look after people better than we are, take care of one another better than we are. People that haves are going to help those that don't, and we're going to get more powerful. And I think our leadership is standing for that, even though it's not always recognized. You know, the president knows what he's doing in terms of passing the right message for the right reasons, and he's looking after, and he's caring for, and we're going to outlast him. You know, and I'm looking forward to being part of that.
You've been a lot more outspoken on non-football things last few years, or maybe even less. When did that turn for you? Was it going back?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I mean, I was always active in what I was trying to contribute to, but you know, it just went too far. We went too far. We needed to, you know, I needed to get my act together, as everybody else in their own ways, you know, can do what they want. I need to get my act together, and so I just need to step up and try to help where I can. You know, we don't have, not everybody gets a chance to have the influence to have a press conference on your birthday, you know, but you know, I want to see things go in the right direction, and so I'm just going to keep hoping and keep driving for it. And it is the hope that you have that keeps you fighting. You know, it's when you don't have hope and you're hopeless, you know, then when you can't. And so, as far as I'm concerned, something good is just about to happen.
Of all the things that you've done in your career, how proud are you of the last 2 years off the field and what you've led them through?
Yeah, Greg, I am proud. I am proud to be part of it. You know, and it's a part of the whole movement that we've kind of put in motion here, and the way everybody's worked together to do the right thing and bust through the, you know, all of the challenges of the opinions from the outside and how you should and all that. We dug in and did it the way we knew how to do it, and in doing so, we found success in that, and so I'm proud of that. But there's a lot more to, you know, we're just getting started, and there's a lot of people that need us, and I hope we can reach out and help them, you know, in our ways. So let's have a great first ball game, get everybody going, and hopefully everybody will, you know, find their way to do this for all the right reasons and make this a great event and learn how to do it, and we'll get better as we go. It won't be smooth through all aspects of it, and it's like the whole process of this COVID thing has not been smooth. It's been a challenge, and you had to hang tough and work your way through it, knowing that you're going to get it right. It's the same thing coming to the stadium on game day, and I'm so proud of the leadership and the people that have made the decisions to put us with the standards that we've set. I think we've done all the right things, and it's because people care and they're looking after one another, and it might not always seem like that, but it's going to work, and so I hope it's a blast for everybody. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Y'all see Pete didn't eat his cookies that they made for his birthday. He's still trying to be, you know, semi-healthy. All right, this is my portion of the interview. And so the next company I want to talk about is a company called Public. It's an investment app focused on helping educate people on how to invest and build financial literacy. the mission is to make the public markets work for everybody. And I think it's important for me because it was something that I wasn't taught growing up in school. I was always taught on, basically working hard to make money versus, figuring out ways to make money work for yourself. And so, I think that's something that is important to me. I want to kind of change this myth that you have to have a certain amount of money or look a certain type of way to learn how to invest or to invest. And so I think this is a cool way for me to kind of get involved, with everybody. It's a public app, no pun intended. We all learn together. I don't know as much as I can know. There's still a lot for me to learn. And so I thought this was a cool way for me to learn with the people who are interested in learning. So, I'm on the app. My username is Business Wags. And so, follow me and let's change the way that people look at investing. So now I'm open to your questions.
That's W-A-G-Z or S?
No, it's Business W-A-G-Z. Yep.
You mentioned the cookies. You guys do anything for Pete's birthday?
Nah, not really. I mean, I think, when you kind of get up there in age, I'm pretty sure he's had every single thing possible happen to him. So I think he would probably just love for us to go out and compete and have a good practice.
That he's 70, see a coach, usually coaching at that age.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to even realize that he was the oldest coach in the league whenever they said it. And this was at maybe 63, give or take. And so, when you see him out there on the field, he doesn't look it. He has a lot of energy. He's always positive. And, it's fun to watch. And, hopefully when I'm 70, I'm still running around and moving the way he's doing. But I probably won't be anywhere near a football field, though.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think you're going to be doing at 70?
70? Hopefully I'm retired, kicking my feet up, chilling. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be playing football at 70 for sure. I'm going to be reaping the benefits of what I put my body through.
How much of an asset or ally and leader has Pete Carroll been the last year of social change and the COVID situation?
I think he's been huge. I mean, I think, from the moment that, I got here in 2012, I feel like there was, he was always a player's coach. He was always a person that, wanted to see you do well in life. And I think probably after year 5 or 6 was kind of a big shift, too, because I think that was a point where even for him, normally for college, it's, 4 years and guys move on. And at that point, we were still there. And so there had to be like a shift in his mind where, we weren't, moving on to another situation unless we got cut or went to another team. And so, I remember him kind of calling a lot of us up and just kind of talking about things outside of football and opening up, kind of his journey to kind of where what got him to this point and, wanted to kind of push us to think about what life looks like after football. And so I always respected him for that because most coaches don't do that. And most coaches don't, kind of promote you trying to figure out what you want to do life after the profession that you're supposed to be focusing on. And, with everything with COVID and social change, he's always been out in front. He's always been a person that's, wanting to learn and put himself out there in uncomfortable situations. And so, I respect him a lot for that.
What do you think of the Baby Keem album?
I liked it. Did you like it?
Not really my speed like that.
I mean, you got to catch up then. I'm just saying.
Guy right now.
Oh, so you still behind. It's all good. Your ears will catch up.
I like Family Time. That was good.
Yeah. I like Kendrick. Kendrick's one of my favorites, so. Yeah. Huh?
He likes trap rap too.
I think he likes all music, all genres.
Bobby,
So open your mind.
Yeah. Sorry, you came in with Russell, obviously. Did you remember a specific moment his rookie year at all when you could tell this guy was something special?
Funny enough, I actually trained with Russell in Florida at IMG, and he was different then. I think I trained with Ryan Tannehill as well. So that group that we had over there was pretty special. But when we got into the building, I think it was just a collective mindset for our draft class because, we're all sitting at home and watching the same thing. And every pick that the Seahawks made that year was just being, kind of bashed. And at the end of the draft, we all saw they gave us an F and they basically told us what we couldn't do from that moment. So when we walked in, it was cool to see somebody that was mentally where I was at in trying to prove the doubters wrong. And, he's only grown from that point. I knew when I watched him walk into the building, watched and saw how he carried himself, I knew he was going to be the starter. It was only a matter of time. I know they had just signed Matt Flynn, but it was just a matter of time for him to take over the job just because he was preparing like a starter, he was acting like a starter, and he was acting like somebody that anybody would want to follow.
I know it's only been one game, but new offensive coordinator for Tennessee, is there, from what you have seen, does it look much different or same kind of stuff different?
I mean, the concepts is maybe a little bit different. Formations maybe a little bit different. But at the end of the day, they're going to get 22 to rock and get out of his way. And so I think they're just trying to find different ways of getting him the ball. But, I think in the last game, it's not really – you can't really, judge that from them because they got behind so quick that they couldn't use the run game to get back in the game. So they had to pass the ball. But, I know their style is predicated on that run game. So, we got to get up quick too so they don't have to do it.
Coming here this week, how encouraging was what you guys did against another really good back last week?
I think it was a good step in the right direction. I think that, especially for a lot of the guys that hadn't got snaps, I think it was, a good effort and a good momentum into this game. And we got to carry that. He's going to be a lot difficult to take down. And, we just have to make sure we get our pads on him, make sure we drive our feet, and make sure we knock down that stiff arm.
The running backs you've had to bring down, where does Derrick Henry rank?
It's kind of tough because I've only played him once our rookie year, and he was splitting reps when I was playing. So I think it was DeMarco Murray that they were still using him a lot, and so he was getting a bulk of the carries. And if I remember correctly, that game they were doing a lot of screens, and some screens hit us. So I haven't really. I had like one play where I shot a gap and I tackled him, but as far as like a complete game, just having to take him on, I haven't really got a chance to hit him like that. But watching the film, he's definitely up there for sure because he's a hard guy to tackle. He's big, he's fast, he can do everything a lot of the smaller backs can do. And if the quarterback doesn't see something downfield, he's going to check down to him, and he can fall forward and get 5 yards. So it's definitely going to be a challenge.
Your first 8 years, every home game, there was this cauldron of noise to where you couldn't talk to the guy next to you, essentially. And then last year, nothing. How would you describe just what last year was like in the silence of playing defense at home without any noise like that?
I think it was fun at first because you got to hear what the coaches say during the game that you may not hear. And you got to hear some coaches that don't cuss a lot during the game. So that was very interesting. But after that, just having, like a game like the Patriots game where we make this crazy stop and there's not any crowd noise and things like that, it obviously, played a factor. And then it's, we use it to our advantage as well because when teams come in, maybe they're a no-huddle team or a team that likes to make checks at the line of scrimmage, they have to minimize their plays because the communication is not great. And so I'm excited to have that back, excited to I guess, lose my voice and not be able to hear again, and it should be fun.
Considering the new pieces you have on defense from 2019, is there a level of relearning how to non-verbally communicate that has to happen this week to get ready for what you'll experience on Sunday?
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's definitely a level of over-communication that has to happen too, just to make sure everything is clear because, in the road games or games like last year, you can kind of get a confirmation because a person can hear you, but in this game, could be a chance where somebody might not hear you, so you can't take any chances whether the person heard you or not. You just got to just do it and, overdo it and make sure that we're all on the same page, especially, playing a good team like this.
The pumped-in crowd noise compared to the real thing?
I mean, it was nothing. It was fake. They had it at a certain level, like 60%. So it really wasn't. I didn't really notice it, to be honest, because they didn't. Like, once you set it at a certain level, you couldn't raise it. So whatever it was in the beginning of the game wasn't going to be like that towards the end. And so that's the difference. Like, it's going up and down constantly throughout the game, depending on the plays we're making. So, DK can make a big play or Russ can make a big play, and the level was still the same. Versus, if they did that with our fans, they would go nuts and you wouldn't be able to hear. I'm pretty sure they got a little alcohol in them too, so that probably raises the level too.
So it was easy to hear the conversations on the sideline, even when they were pumping in that crowd noise.
Yeah, for sure. It was super easy. It was even easy to hear the guys, hearing the offense. Sometimes I was like, dang, they're running really basic stuff. Like they would say, hey, tight end, run out. And I'm like, we can hear that. Yeah. I'm like, y'all got to come up with a better way of saying that. Like, so yeah, it was funny.
The rule change with the jersey numbers, did you consider going to 9?
I did. I wanted to go to 9 until they told me how much I would have to pay for my inventory. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stay where I'm at and, hopefully retire at 54 and make it worth it.
I think whether it's like the first third down or first big play you guys have and that noise really amps up, do you think it's just going to kind of feel a bit special having been away from it for a year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be crazy because I think our fans are really excited to be back. We're excited to have them back. And, just hearing them in the preseason game where I don't feel like there was as many people as there are going to be, that day. And it's the first game and it's, a big team. So it's going to be crazy. And, hopefully it's as loud as I think it's going to be.
When you were younger, why was business so important to you even back then? Like in high school or even early in college? That was your major, right? Like business?
Yeah, business. I don't know. It's just something that I gravitated to. I watched movies or, saw different people that was into business, and it's just something that attracted me and something I wanted to do. And I kept being told, like, playing football, there's only a 1% chance that you're going to make it. And so I always felt like I was at 1%, but just in case I wasn't, I wanted to have a backup plan or have something else that I can be better at. And so business was a thing that I wanted to do because I like math. Negotiating contracts has a lot of math in it. And then everything, no matter what you're doing, whether you're art or music or, building rockets at some point like that, it has to turn into a business for you to sell whatever you're doing. And so every aspect and everything that people do is a business. Like media is a business. This team is a business. Everything is centered around some form of business. And so I just wanted to have my hands in that.
Help springboard you into how the idea of financial literacy, business, partnerships, anything like that?
Nah, a lot of it was just reading and just being curious. Like I said, growing up, like that wasn't really the thing. Like we was always just taught to work hard for money. I think one of the biggest things that when I first got here, actually Coach Norton made me read it, was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it was talking about the difference between the mentality of the poor dad versus the mentality of the rich dad. Like the rich dad talked about like checks and investing and all these different things. And the poor dad talked about how to work hard to make the money so you can make a good living, so you can be there for your family and things like that. So it's just a different mentality. And, I didn't know how to write a check until I got to the league. That was the first time, like they talked about it, but I didn't know how to do that until either college or like the first time in the league. Like my mom helped me with a lot of that stuff. So, and she was into finance. So I think that was the biggest thing, just, just reading and being curious.
Own a business or start something like that?
I would love to own a team. I think that's the ultimate goal. And, I'll check off the boxes until I get to that point. But there's other things that I want to do in the process of, hopefully, God willing, doing that.
Or would you like part of the soccer team like wrestlers?
NFL, NBA, things that I'm interested in. I was close one time, but it didn't work out. I'll save that for another day.
You were close to owning an NBA team?
Maybe. Huh? Clippers? Nah, Clippers. I ain't got Steve Ballmer money, man. You know what I mean? I gotta get a group together. I can't do that by myself. Not yet.
What do you think of KJ's Raider debut?
It was cool. The 34 actually looked a lot better than I thought. He had a really, really good play on that fourth down, which I don't think people realize how good of a play that was. That's not where he was supposed to be, but he's just so smart that he knew the ball was going in that gap. And so, if you see, as soon as he motioned, you saw him kind of get up and shoot the gap, and I'm just like, dang, he used to do that with us all the time. Sure wish it was still going on, but, the business side of things gets in the way.
Anything else, guys? Thank you, Bobby.
DK's up next. Don't clap. What's wrong with this dude, man? Change his hair color, start acting different.
Everybody give a round of applause for Bobby.
When did the smack talk start between you and AJ?
No, I mean ain't too much smack talk going on, man. Just best of luck, to him this week.
Outside of a week you're playing each other, how often do you guys communicate with each other?
We really haven't communicated this too much this season, but it's always love between us, and just wishing the best.
Has he ever talked to you about the Seahawks' interest in him too before the draft?
No, I never talked about that.
Someone Julio's size, what did his success do maybe for you, knowing that you were someone who built like that, trying to play receiver as well?
I mean, of course it motivated me, but, I'm trying to, pave my own way in this league as well. So, I mean, him, Calvin Johnson, a couple other bigger receivers definitely paved the way for me.
You said in training camp that when Alex Collins got his chance, he's going to be a monster, I think is the term used. With Penny hurt, maybe this is the week he does. Just what made you say that back then, and what are you looking forward to if he does get on the field?
Because I know his work ethic, and I know, once he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to make one person miss or maybe two. So just looking forward to, just seeing him back on the field. I know he's hungry just to get his opportunity just to play.
Russ, I think you said that the touchdown that he threw to you, that was a good example of the work that you guys did in the offseason paying off. Do you remember working on that specific play or route?
Yeah, I remember working on it, because he would talk smack about, the route that I ran before, like it wasn't good enough. So I've ran a couple of seams, probably 10 times now.
What was the relationship like with you and AJ when you were oldest together?
He was my roommate our sophomore year of college, and then we moved into our own places, and I got a freshman receiver and he got a freshman receiver that we basically took care of. So we've always been competitive, and the big brother at Ole Miss. So just like I said, man, looking forward to just seeing him Sunday, just get to do his thing.
Were your high schools rivals?
Yeah. We played each other in high school 3 times. I beat him once, and he won the last 2.
How'd that post-game photo come about with the Colts kicker?
We've been following each other on social media for a minute, and he played at Georgia, so just been a big fan of how comedic he is on and off the field.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Reaction to all that too.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.